Gather round. It's time for your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group at Coldwell Banker Burnett. Listen closely as your coaches discuss the culture, the economy, and the political scene, and how it affects your home and your real estate investments. Real Estate Chalk Talk is where you learn the science of buying and selling real estate and the art of living in your home. Your education begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, I guess it is. Welcome to the program. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk, coming to you from the legendary Rack Shack Barbecue Studio in Eagan, Minnesota. HittnerGroup.com, Hittner Group, all one word. HittnerGroup.com, 612-627-8000. That's 612-627-8000. Give us a ring-a-ling-a-ling. We'd be happy to have a chat with you about your real estate needs. And that call is with no cost and absolutely no obligation. 612-627-8000. Got Tom Machad in the studio with us today, filling in for Junior, and we are going to have an ongoing conversation about the lovely, lovely financial news that came out this week. I'm so excited about the news. I don't understand this.
What don't you understand?
The highest inflation rate
40 years.
In 40 years. And the stock market rallies. What's up with that? I just don't understand it. And then with the stock market going up, then rates came down, right?
Rates, we had a pretty big increase in rates, and then we got a little reprieve, but the reprieve is
still painful.
Yeah. So
we are a need-based practice, right? We sell things. We help people buy and sell real estate because they need to move. That's always been our kind of thing. We didn't ever ride any of the waves, so to speak, of the trends, because a lot of the agents that are doing that now are finding themselves working at Walmart or Home Depot because they never really built a practice. So, the needs that we love are families who, now all of a sudden there's a couple more kids in the house and they need more space, so they need a bigger house. The challenge is in this environment, how do you accomplish that? How do you fulfill their need, help them reach their goal in today's environment? The news that came out this week from FHA is that they expect home prices to actually fall by 1.5 next year. I don't know how.
Was that regionally or?
Yeah, that was a national. That's a
number?
National thing, and like Junior likes to point out again and again and again, he's absolutely right. All real estate, like politics, is local. I mean, it is. In some local communities, that's just absolutely laughable to think that home prices are going to fall 1.5. But over the course of if you look at what's driving the market, there is a home shortage right now. There still is. There's more family formation coming about, people who want to buy homes than there are homes. Homes they wear out, they get tore down, they get redeveloped, areas all that stuff goes on. And then it's up to the new home builders to build new homes and to supply that. And they're not keeping up. Then if you just look at the population, you've got guys like me, the older population, who are downsizing out of that big house, and the homes that we want to go into don't exist really.
Right.
So
the Rambler,
the big Ramblers or the Rambler townhomes that are not Cracker Jacks, little dinky ones, the ones that have some space, maybe three bedrooms and maybe that 3-car garage or 4-car garage because he's got a sports car or a pickup truck or toys and all that. And they just don't exist. So there's that pressure. And then you've got the millennials, the youngers that are coming up. That population is larger than the baby boomers. And so think of that demand that is being put now on the housing market. So the notion that this supply thing is going to go away anytime soon, it's just the numbers don't support it. The demographics don't support it.
No, that younger group that's coming up, are they wanting to buy that house?
Well, they're wanting to buy a house. And if they're wise, they will, because real estate is still the best investment from a wealth building standpoint that anyone can ever make. You want to be a millionaire, buy $1 million worth of real estate. It's the best thing going because you can go in and buy a I always say that the house that you live in, don't think of that as an investment.
Right.
It's not an investment. That you got to live somewhere.
Right.
So you buy a property that meets your family's needs, and figure out how to get in there in the best way possible that makes sense for you financially.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's it. Now, will you accrue some wealth in that? Absolutely, because the cost of replacing that property just continues to go up. You've locked in a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, and you continue to pay it down over time, so your equity position in that property improves every single year. You get some tax benefits, but most importantly, you've got a place to live and raise your family. Now, from an investment standpoint, I want to buy an investment property. Same thing. We'll take easy numbers. I'm going to buy a $100,000 property. No, there's no such thing that exists, but let's just say it did. A $100,000 property, and I'm going to put 20% down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is my investment? Did I invest $100,000 in a piece of real estate?
No.
No. You invested 20, because that was your cash. But your property appreciates based on the 100. So that's your return plus the rents that you get and so forth, and you are also paying down
Right.
your equity on the property. So your rate of return on that 20%, even in a 3% appreciating market, can easily be 12 to 15%, and in a fast appreciating market, 20-25% on that property on your cash on cash return on your investment. So it is the greatest thing ever from a wealth building standpoint long term, is owning investment properties. So just be smart about it, and make sure that they cash flow, because if you buy a property that does not cash flow, or you try to skinny your way in,
Right.
and it doesn't cash flow, then you're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Well, that's what's hard right now. A little bit is with people trying to buy investment properties. The rates are pretty aggressive, pretty high, and then they're trying to make this thing cash flow. And right now, I mean, if they're breaking even, it's a win.
Mm-hmm.
We know rates will come back down, but right now a lot of people are even getting away from that market a little bit just because rates are pretty high. So it doesn't make as much sense.
It doesn't make as much sense, but a good property is a good property.
Yep,
So if
so
you've
then
got
you
an
got
opportunity to
the
pick up a
break
good
even,
property
right?
in a location that is in your wheelhouse,
Yep.
because investors sometimes it's like, I'll get one wherever I can get a good deal. That's not the wisest thing to do.
Right.
Most of the time they want to keep them in a geographical area that they can service
Yep.
and take care of. When you have an opportunity like that, sometimes you just got to take the opportunity and refinance later. The question is will that refinance opportunity come?
Right.
Is our rates going to be settling at 6 for the next decade?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I think we'll be mid 4s in about 12 months again.
And what evidence do you have, or what makes you think that?
I'll talk about that in the fourth segment, because
Okay.
otherwise I have nothing to talk about
Okay.
in the fourth segment.
Well, that's a
gonna
good
be
tease for the fourth segment. But
people are going to stick around.
that's what I'm starting to hear on the various real estate blogs, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of talk about like a 2-1 buy down or something like that, and then you're just going to refinance. Well, with a 2-1 buy down, as you and I have talked about a lot of times, the front end loading of the costs on that is so high, because the investor, ultimate investor, the money guys,
Mm-hmm.
they know you're going to refi out in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to get their money up front.
Mm-hmm.
And from a buyer standpoint, he's running a risk that that's just not going to happen. And all of a sudden he's going to settle into that higher rate, and then he paid all that money for nothing.
Well, the buyer typically never pays that. It's always the seller contribution. So unless you can have the seller contribute those dollars for the 2-1 buy down, it makes no sense.
Well, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
But remember that seller contribution comes from the sale price.
Mm-hmm.
So the sale price is higher than it needed to be, so it could accommodate that buy down.
Mm-hmm.
So if I
you're getting some of that, but we're getting most of our purchase agreements are coming in with 3% seller pays now. Almost, I would say over 90%, because everybody realizes you need dollars to buy rates down right now.
right.
So
this is unique now.
Well, it's not unique. It's unique
Over
to
the
the last
last-
couple of years.
yeah, that's what I
for
mean.
Sure.
Over the last
absolutely.
decade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over less, yeah.
So
5
it
to
sounds
10
like it's
years.
going back to a normal market.
It is a very balanced market. I mean, and that's the point of all this, is that there's pressures on one side, that is the demand side. that says that housing is still going to be expensive. The home prices are still going to go up. But then there's the pressure on the buyer side that says, rates are high, costs are high, so that tends to push those prices and hold them in check. So we're going to see more of a normal counterbalance effect on home prices, I think, over the course of the next really foreseeable future, as far as anyone can reasonably forecast.
Are you seeing that builders are, well, we'll talk about it next segment.
Okay, so we have to go out to break and pay some bills. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk, 612-627-8000, 612-627-8000. Thomas Shad's in the studio. We'll talk with him a little bit when we come back, right after these messages.
Get that Rack Shack attack, Rack Shack barbecue, yeah.
Hey, welcome back to the Mortgages. Thanks for staying with us. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk, coming to the legendary Rack Shack Barbecue Studio in Eagan, Minnesota. HittnerGroup.com, Hittner Group, all one word. HittnerGroup.com, 612-627-8000. That's 612-627-8000. Give us a ring-a-ling-a-ling. We'd be happy to help you in any way that we can. That first conversation, of course, is all with no cost and absolutely no obligation. All right, so we have a program. Well, first of all, I just want Thomas Shad's here, TPM Flooring. You know how Kelvin gets into a refi boom and he kind of licking his chops because the rates are down. He's gonna just kill it for the next couple of years because refis. That's kind of about how you must be feeling right about now. And I'll tell you why I say that. Because of our
I'm licking my chops.
Licking your chops. Because of our last conversation in the previous segment, we were talking about how the market has become more balanced and more normalized. All right. Historically normal, where you've got buyers that have their influence, you got sellers that have their influence. We're negotiating. What we're seeing now in the marketplace is that properties that come on the market, they have to be well prepared for the market.
Yes.
They have to be. If they are not well prepared for the market, because the buyer is so skittish, if there's any hair on the dog, they're going to run. They're going down the street. And our inventory right now is twice as much as it was at the beginning of the year. So there is actually a pretty doggone good supply of inventory. We have in the 7-county metro area, we have 6,800 homes for sale right now. 2 years ago, it was 6,700. You have to go back to 2019 before there was actually more properties for sale, and that was about 3,000 more homes for sale. So many more than a year ago, but twice as many as a year ago. So we're in a good supply situation, which means buyers have choice.
Right.
And when buyers have choice, homes need to be prepared for sale. And there comes TPM Flooring, because when you walk into a house, that's the first thing you look at is the floors. You're walking with your head down so you don't trip.
Right.
And you're looking at floors.
Well, it is interesting, so the last couple years, to watch that trend where anytime anybody was going to put their house on the market, they were new paint, new flooring, redo their wood floors, stage it.
Right.
That's what you did.
That's what you did.
And you had to get that buyer, or you're just reducing the price dramatically.
Right. Actually, you didn't even have to reduce the price. That was the problem.
Right. So now so that kind of disappeared a little bit, because there's so many times I went in we went out, we gave them a quote for the new carpet, did all that, and I get the call that says, we don't need to...
it's sold.
Yeah, it already sold.
Yeah. By the time you get the quote back, it's sold.
It's already gone. I'm like, actually, I was grateful for that, because I remember being on that side of it going, I got to spend how much to do this?
Right.
But you had to. Now we're kind of back into that a little bit. But the interesting thing during that time was, who filled that spot for me was those that said, now I'm staying in my house. I want it the way I want it.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's good. We
were refinishing those wood floors. We were putting in the carpet. The different thing is now we weren't putting in they say builder basic or an inexpensive carpet. They were spending a little bit more
and put some nicer flooring in.
To put some nicer flooring in there. So that filled my gap there.
No, what I'm
interesting
seeing a lot is these vinyl planks and these plank floorings and all that stuff. What is the deal with them? Because some of them I go into, and these are some pretty high-end houses. They really, to me, they just look cheap.
So there was a $2 million house that they were building, and they put in LVP throughout the entire main. So there's probably 2,500 square feet
Wow.
on their main level
of luxury vinyl
planking.
Okay. This was like supposed to be wood, but it almost looked like contact paper on the wood.
Well, that's just okay. There's different.
Did you like that, what you saw? A whole main level of luxury vinyl
That's
plank?
what you're seeing in all these places
Yeah.
right now.
Really?
There's not engineered wood. Before, remember, they went 3/4-inch wood floors.
Yep.
Save money. Let's go to engineered. Now save money. Let's go to LVPs.
Okay.
So it's all price driven. How can we keep the house costs down for people to afford it? And flooring's just one of the things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, from what I can see, it's not really going away because of the cost for it, but the products are getting better.
That's what it is.
The products are getting so much better. It's amazing.
If I was building a new bathroom right now, we have ceramic tile in our bathroom. If I was going to rip it out and put a whole new bathroom in, I would not put ceramic tile back in there. I'd put luxury vinyl because their choices are so great and they look beautiful.
So, but
Yes.
are you flip-flopping? Because you just said it
No,
looked
no,
really cheap.
No,
and now
I'm
you're
just
saying it looks nice.
we did.
What-
You're right. I did kind of get.
I'm
No, I
just
didn't.
so confused
I don't want
now.
to get off on that. It's just my question is on the different levels or
Yes.
styles or manufacturers or qualities or whatever it is about sometimes. I mean, I have vinyl planking or engineered wood in my kitchen. You put it in.
Yep.
And it looks great.
Yours is different.
Okay.
Yours is, yes, it's an engineered because we had to glue that
Yeah.
down. But you've got so much wood there. It's not the traditional engineered where it's really thin. You can never do anything with it. Yours was really nice.
So then the question is that. So on some of these high-end homes, can those floors be refinished ever, or do they need it, or how do they wear?
So if they go luxury vinyl planking, obviously they're not refinishing anything. If something goes bad, sometimes we can replace a plank depending on how it was installed. But over time, like any floor, even with they can get scratched and things like that because luxury vinyl planking act like a wood floor. So you have to put those felt pads underneath
Okay, you do,
your
because I
chairs.
always worry about that. It's
Yeah,
like,
you got to do all of that.
Yeah.
Pretend it's a wood floor. The nice thing about it is if you spill from the top down, or your dogs, you see the dog dishes up
Yeah.
in the kitchen, and all of a sudden you see that one spot on the wood floor. That's from all that water and stuff really damaging it. With the luxury vinyl planking, just wipe it up and move on. So there's such a benefit to that.
So what are you seeing? What are you seeing then in terms of wood floor? Someone says I want it to look like a wood floor.
Mhm.
So what are the options now that are available to people that have a floor that they can say, "Yep, I have a hardwood floor."
So if you want to go luxury vinyl planking, the interesting thing is we're going back to the natural looks again. Remember we had the gray
Mm-hmm.
phase?
Yeah.
Now manufacturers are starting, as I start to see this new samples coming in, I'm noticing, they're still there, but there's more natural looks now. The reason for it is because that's what the people want. We went through a phase, now we're going back. So there's some manufacturers out there that are making it look amazing.
So it looks like wood.
Yeah.
Does it have texture?
Yes, it does. It has a
Okay.
texture. It has all of that to it. Now, we all know it's not.
Right.
So when you first walk into a house, I've had people go, these wood floors look great.
Yeah, I
And it's
love
like,
these floors.
Yeah, it's like, that's not wood. I'm
Okay.
like, what? But the nice thing about it is there's different qualities, and
Okay.
that is a good thing.
Yeah.
There's different price points.
Right. Exactly.
But you get what you pay for. Like,
Mhm.
there's still those ones that you see, like you just said, it looks so cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the thinnest thing you've ever bought.
And it click clacks when you walk around.
all
on
of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And as you start to go up in price, what you're getting now is it doesn't sound like the clickety clack. It's got a better pad attached to it. It's a little bit thicker product. Now thickness doesn't matter. What really matters is the wear layer. That's what takes the beating when you walk on it, and those go up. So you go from 8 mil to 10 mil to 12 to 15 to 20 to 30, and all that is how many wear layers are in there
Okay.
to wear down. And it's the thicker wear layer they've got so many different ways of
Yeah,
doing it
Mhm.
that makes it nice and hard. And it's
So is that like pad on carpet? Like the better the pad is,
yeah, but
or not?
the better the pad, yes, but it's all attached. So before, remember, we'd roll down laminate, we'd roll it down,
Yeah.
and then that was the pad that we were dealing with, and it's really thin and
Yeah.
stuff. Well, now they go to a pad, a scuba pad is one of the best ones I've seen out there, and they're attaching it to this plank
To the
itself.
plank itself.
So it's not really thick, but it's so dense and takes that you don't hear that.
And it's adhered to the wood, so
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
don't have that.
Yeah,
So you just have that softness almost
it's
on the
a-
wood
yeah,
a little bit?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So you can't add people. Well, can I put another pad underneath that for that to be soft and say no? Because now your tongue and groove will
Yeah,
do this and it's
starts
going to
squeaking,
break
yeah.
and all sorts of stuff happen.
Huh.
So manufacturers come a long way with that. But
So if I'm putting a floor in like that in a house, I'm doing a little remodel in my kitchen or whatever it is, what life expectancy can I expect or anticipate to get out of that floor?
like with everything, what ends up happening is it just starts to ugly out. People get sick of the look. So
it doesn't wear out so much. It just you get sick of it.
it's how you take care of it with everything else. Now, realistically, if they say they've got a 20-year lifetime warranty on it, they're just saying the product's not going to fall apart on you. Is all they're saying.
Okay.
But it's still going to scratch and do its
Sure,
thing.
of
So
course.
usually if they take care of it, you could 10 years before you're getting sick of it.
Okay.
But if you beat it up, you don't take care of it, then a couple years, if you're not putting the felts underneath and you've got dirt running all over the place and scratching the floor, you got to take care of it, just like carpet.
Yeah.
It can last as long as you want it to.
I want to talk about ceramic tile when we get back from break. This is our Healthy Homes. No, it isn't. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk. 612-627-8000. We tune into our Healthy Homes on Saturday mornings, though. 612-627-8000. 612-627-8000. HittnerGroup.com. Hittner Group, all one word. HittnerGroup.com. We'll be right back after these messages. Hey, welcome back to the program. Thanks for staying with us. We're talking with Tom Mashad on flooring, TPM Flooring, our preferred flooring vendor. What's the contact information? What's the best place for him to go to get a hold of you?
TPMflooring.com, so TPMflooring.com, or you can call the office at 952-746-5157.
TPMflooring.com. Easy to remember. Go there. Check it out. All right, so last segment we were talking about vinyl planking flooring and wood floors. Do you ever put any just straight up rear wood floors anymore?
Yes.
Really?
We are. It's... Sorry for the pause. Most people aren't doing it because of the cost, right? But the ones that are, they're just sold on it because they do last forever. You can always sand and finish and sand and finish and sand and just
the hardwood.
Yeah, the hardwood, and it just looks brand new again when you're done.
Right.
So, like my whole upstairs of my house, except for the bedrooms, are wood floors right now, so I can keep.
What species do you find that people are putting in? Do you see it trending in there? I mean, it was maple and oak for 100 years.
Well, it went
100
100
years was an exaggeration.
Actually, it's
no, really not.
It was.
Oh, really?
It was oak and maple for a long time,
Yeah.
and then it started to switch because they got sick of the oak. Everybody got
Right.
sick in Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Got sick of it. Guess what's coming back?
Oak.
It's the oak is coming back.
They want to see the grain.
They do. It
Yeah.
went from we hate the grain.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of it, so we're adding stain and doing whatever we can to get rid of it, to hide it. To I want it back. I got a call back from a customer from about 15 years ago. We stained it. They kept it up. It was great. They called me back and said, we want to get rid of our stain.
Mm-hmm.
So we sanded it, brought it right back to natural.
So can you?
Really?
That was my question.
Yeah.
How do you do that then? When you stain a floor, how do you bring that back to natural? You must have to
Sander, I
take quite
think.
a
Sand
bit
it down.
down.
Sand.
We
Sand.
sand it.
So how that stain must not penetrate that deep.
It does to a point, but remember, we're putting a coat of stain, right, and it penetrates in, but it's not like all the way through, right?
Right.
It's just a little bit. And then we add the coats on top of it to protect the stain. Is
Okay.
what we do. We put 2-3 coats of clear finish on
Got it.
top of that to protect the stain.
So what colors are you seeing then when you're doing that? I mean, are they going natural or are they going colors? Are the dark floors, for quite a few years it was that dark floor. People want that dark floor. Is that gone?
So that's what's starting to disappear. They want to go back to the natural looks.
Okay.
Every once in a while I'll get, hey, we want to add a little tint to it or something,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. We can do that. I actually just did someone wanted that light gray, and we did. Not a big deal, but everybody else, not everyone, 90% are going back to the natural.
Do you see that people are putting the same flooring in throughout the house, or are they using a different species, like a cherry in one room and a bamboo in another, or something like that?
So it's usually the same throughout, and if they change a room, it might be their office because it's set aside, or it's that great room. But if it's all together, that open concept,
Yep.
they want it all the same.
They want
So it just flows right through, and then that's when you add the rugs on top of it.
Mm-hmm. Bedrooms, You see many hard surfaces in general going in
No,
bedrooms?
it's usually they want the carpet
They
with a
still want the
nice
carpet.
cushy pad underneath it to wake up on and be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I said I just want to touch base on ceramic because ceramic was, the ultimate luxury. For 20 years ago, if you built a house and in a master bath or nicer home, you had ceramic in there and ceramic in the kitchen.
Yep.
And now that much of that has been replaced, is it completely gone, or what's happened to all the tile setters and all that? I mean, it's like they're disappearing, or what?
No, so in the kitchens you're seeing the wood or the LVP and things that we just talked about. In the bathrooms, in a second bathroom, it's the luxury vinyl planking. That's what you're seeing. In the master, if they want the heated floors, then we're putting the tile in.
Okay.
So it's not really going away, but what you're seeing is a lot of accents with the tile backsplashes,
Okay.
or around the tubs or in the showers and things like that to make it pop
Dress
a
it
little
up,
bit.
yep.
Yeah, is what you're seeing a lot of. But tile throughout all the bathrooms like we used to see before, that's pretty much disappeared. I mean, in the normal houses. Now, if you're talking the $2-3 million, that's a different world.
And the tile options are,
Yeah.
you look at them and go, wow, where'd they get that?
If you're trying to put heated in the bathroom, do you have to raise it up a lot, or have they changed the technology where it can be a little bit,
Yeah. You're
in the past you were running water under everything and doing all that.
now
What
you've
are you
got
doing
the
now?
wires.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got the wires. So as long as we get above that, we're good to go. So first we'd put the Durarock rotor on the floor. We'd put the wires on top, and then a lot of times our thin set itself, just go with the bigger trowel, would cover that.
Is enough.
Yeah, we're doing one right now. Actually, in a townhouse, the guy says, "I just want it throughout." We actually ripped up his old one. It just wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
It's from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Updated it, gave him all the new thermostats and everything else, and just redid the whole thing. Just finished that one. Yeah.
And you do all that as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And the backsplashes, I love these.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for a subway backsplash.
Right.
Just the white, horizontal. Sometimes you see the bigger tiles now. They seem like they're coming with a little bit smaller tile. You see a lot of I don't know what size.
3x6 is
3
kind of
inches,
the
yeah.
standard now.
Something like that. They look wonderful. What I'm looking at that for my own kitchen. How would I work that in? Because we got kind of some funny transitions and such, and I have these granite countertops with this 4-inch
lip up
lip
Right.
thing
right?
on the back of it. How do you deal with that?
So a lot of times we're going on top of it, because the reason for that is if we pull that off, a lot of times we see a gap back there
sure.
because of movement and a miscut, so they're using that thing to kind of hide it, right? So that was just part of the design. So a lot of times that just stays and we go on top. A lot of times what we're doing. So the 3x6 subway tile is classic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere forever. The grout colors are a little bit.
Okay.
Before, remember, you do the white,
Mhm.
and we do kind of a white grout. That's
White
what you
on
see.
white. Yeah.
Now you're seeing it's white with the black grout.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really nice.
White with a black ground.
Yes.
Interesting.
And it's actually, it looks classy, but the nice benefit about it is what happens to white grout over time.
Yeah. It gets
It's
It
black.
gets
It
dark.
turns black.
Yeah.
It starts to change your grease and all that other stuff
Mhm.
that hits it. So once you get the black on there, you really don't see that change.
So in the restaurant, Tom put in the tile in all of our restaurants, and so in the restaurant, the last time you put in like an epoxy grout.
Yes, we did, because for
Okay.
your kitchen.
Yeah. So is that an option? Because it eliminates that, right? Because they're more stable.
So
They're
that's for
truly
the grease
waterproof.
and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's food grade. We have to do that in the kitchens that we're doing all over. Could you do that? Yeah, you could do epoxy. It's a whole other process now. The cost doubles.
Yeah.
The product doubles with all that. But you could. It's not necessary at all. Because now there's other grouts that are supposed to, they say, will protect from kind of the decoloration.
They don't absorb.
Yeah, but they still, over time, everything breaks down, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I love that backsplash. And what about countertops? You into
No,
countertops?
no,
countertops.
no.
I know for a while you were dabbling in it. And,
well, we did it because people would just ask, "Can you do this?
Yeah.
Can you just do?" All we did is we subbed it to somebody else,
okay.
and finally I just went,
What am I doing?
"Here, here's my quote that they gave me. Here, go to them direct. Save some money, and that way I didn't have to organize that whole thing together either."
So one of the programs that we're working on right now, we're really getting, because we do this with move up by this young families that need, and they're buying their house. They got all the cash that they have going into the new house, and now we're coming to them and saying, oh, by the way, now you need to put new carpet in, you need to paint the house, we need to have it staged, all this stuff. And they're like, well, all of my money is going into the new, I just don't have any extra cash, but I have equity in the house. And so our program is we'll take care of it. So we'll get the carpet put in, we'll get the house painted, and then we'll just settle up at closing. No interest, no notes or anything, no liens on the house, we'll just take care of it at closing. A wonderful program. And then the other thing is, like with estates, same deal. Owners or the heirs are around the country, and the house could bring more to the market if it had some carpet in it, got painted, get the wallpaper off, and they just like, I'm in Texas, man. How am I going to do that? And we step in. We say, look, we'll take care of it, and we'll just settle up at closing. Wonderful program. And now you're our flooring vendor in that program. What a wonderful opportunity it is, because that's that need-based installation that we want. Where the goal is to help people move that property and get the most that they can for it, and obviously fixing it up. That's why I say you must be licking your chops, because so many of these homes right now that are going to be coming on the market, they've been in there a while and they need carpet. I mean, they just need the carpet. Your last minute here, any projects you're working on now that are fun that you want to just share about?
There's one in Egan right now. I got a call. They found us online type of thing. And then we found out, actually, they got my name from, it was a referral.
Okay.
It's actually, as we started talking more about that. And they've been in the house for 10, 15 years. They had some water damage on their wood floors. So we had to pull some out, install, kind of lacing all the wood so it looked like original, sand and finish the whole thing, which was, it's fun to go in and kind of do those things and see people like, wow, that looks brand new. To, now we want the whole house done.
Yeah.
Now we want all the carpet replaced. We want all that. So it turned in from just this insurance thing to an entire house, and that house had to be 5,000 square feet.
Yeah, big house.
Wow.
It was a monster. I walked in there going, you got to be kidding me at how big this thing was. But they're like, it's been the original carpet when we moved in, and they put in the basics to sell it back in the day. So now we're bringing it to what they want.
We got to go pay bills. We'll be right back with Money Segment.
Get that Rack Shack attack, Rack Shack barbecue, yeah.
But we're going to wrap.
Money in the bank.
Rates are good. Pretty exciting. You know why? Free money. You understand what I'm saying?
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is the Money Segment.
You notice every time we play less and less of that opening? It's like, rates are great. Free money. No.
Historically, they're still great. They're still great. Before you get going, I just want to say, you mentioned that on the last segment, you mentioned that someone gave you a referral, and you did, started with a small thing before you were done. It was the whole project. And then first you said that they saw you online, and then you remembered that it was really, you found out that it was actually a referral. And I just want to point out that that's how most things go now. For us, I guess I'm not surprised anymore, but I find out that we've been referred, and then they go online to check us out. And they've seen all of our websites, they've watched some of our videos, they've gone to our Facebook pages and our personal pages, and we walk in the door and they're like family, because they know all about us already. And that's just kind of how it all seems to go from a referral standpoint. Okay, Calvin, I just wanted to get that blurb in.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. That's why everybody pushes me to start doing video stuff a little bit more.
Yeah. Plus, you're so good looking.
Well, I should be
your
on
on-camera presence is shockingly
good.
Yes.
I need something right now, because rates aren't it.
Rates aren't it.
No.
Yeah, the commodity is gone.
Man, oh man.
Yeah.
So we've had a fun week in the mortgage industry. We had a lot of stuff going on this past week. I'm going to touch on, just do a little quiz here. Inflation came out this week. So the last report prior to the election. It's going to be hard to spin this one.
Yeah.
Hard to spin this one. 40-year highs, 8.2% inflation. Shelter's up 7.2%. Gas, and this is year over year. Gas is up 18%. Food 11%, and medical 6%. So, it's going to be a tough spin, and this isn't a political statement.
You know what they're spinning it? They're saying it's all the housing industry. It's our fault. That I saw that this morning.
Seriously?
Most of
I've
the
not seen
inflation
that.
they're blaming on the housing.
Why?
Because they
Okay.
need someone to blame it on.
Jeez. So they're blaming it all on January 6th.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
So anyway, a lot of distraction there. We have elections coming up, obviously, and this is the last report that came out. Well, I'm just going to read from one of the things we read every morning about where the market's at. I'm just going to read a little segment here because I think it'll shed some light, and then we'll talk about it. It says stocks and bonds are both higher to start the day. It was a wild ride yesterday. CPI inflation came in hotter than the market expected, as we anticipated. Initially, all of the markets sold off sharply. So yesterday, we saw this huge swing back and forth. At one point, mortgage bonds were down roughly 135 basis points, but they were able to turn the beat around and claw back almost to all of their losses. Part of the reason was the developing story in the UK, but also the thought that investors believe that the selling was overdone and the worst of the inflation is now behind us. So that's what we talked earlier, like what was the shift? The shift was everything. I was talking to my buddy who's a portfolio manager, and he said, everybody's sell, and then everybody's like, I think we're kind of done. Because when you look calendar, they go 12 months, year over year. So now when you look back 12 months again, now we're out of the kind of Trump era to the Biden era. Now we're going to start to see like, oh, no, it's pretty even going forward. So that was a lot of it. After yesterday's hot CPI print, the Fed futures, which tries to anticipate what the Fed will do at the November 2nd meeting, are pricing in a 96% chance of a 75 bip hike. Okay, so in November, pop another 75, and a 0% chance of a 50 basis point hike. So basically, they're saying it's going to be 75 coming.
3/4 of a point.
Yeah. Looking to the December 14 meeting, there's now a 68% chance of a 75 basis point hike, and it was going to be 50, but now they're saying that they anticipate 75 and 75. So that means
8% interest.
8%.
Wow.
Crazy, right? A little crazy. So back to the UK story, right?
Okay.
So we always talk about how it's kind of weird, right? Everything happening all over the world affects like how Tom refinances his home or buys his new home and what rates I can offer in Eagan, Minnesota versus, well, what's going on in the UK that would cause his rate to change?
Right.
Well, back to the UK story, the Prime Minister of the UK appears to have done a reversal on the UK's unfunded tax cut plan, as the Bank of England is now ending its bond buying support. As a result, the 10-year gilt, which is like our 10-year treasury, is rallying back sharply lower, and that drops the entire world's bond prices, right? So now we look more attractive, pushes the pricing down, and we get a little bit lower rates. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Now, I won't go through all of it because everybody turned off probably already.
Right,
But
right.
the reality is rates continue to be high. And credit's important, man. We always talk like what impacts your rate, man. Credit's a big deal, folks. And we, we're helping people, and there's ways that we can help people improve their credit. So even if your credit's banged up, let's have a conversation. Let's at least get on the path of increasing that credit score, because it does matter. I'm just running pricing this morning, and like we talked in the first segment about like 2-1 buy downs, and when we were saying, hey, a lot of the purchase agreements coming across our desk now have 2 or 3% seller paid closing costs, and whether that's on top of the sales price or under doesn't matter as much as it does to you. But it is the fact that we're coming in with money from the seller, or the buyer's paying for
From
it.
the transaction.
From the transaction, that's good language. From the transaction that is buying that rate down. So today, if you're looking, 6.99 is probably where everybody would be in terms of rate, and that's putting about a half point down. If you want to get crazy, we had somebody say, well, I want to be back 5.9, under 6. Today, that costs 4.3. So take whatever your, loan amount is times 4%. That's how much it costs just for that rate.
And so you see, to the point of who's paying for that, is you see a lot of builders right now offering these low teaser interest rates, for under 5% or just over 5% rate.
Are those adjustable?
No. No, they're
10-1 arms. They're all arms.
They're all arms.
All arms.
Okay, so but a 10-1
but
arm.
10
is-
with 10-1 arms, fine.
It's you're guaranteed your rate
Yeah.
is going to stay fixed for 10 years. So you have, but that there's a cost associated with that buying that rate down.
Well, of course.
So where do you think that cost is?
Well, it's put into the price of the home.
It's buried in the
Yeah,
price of the
for
house.
sure.
I mean, absolutely. So
So the base price on this home is $285, and on that development, the base price is $300.
right.
And boy, I love that house. And then they look at these features, and by the way, look at this great mortgage rate you can get here.
Yep.
We see it. I mean, we're the largest lender to the builder community in the country, but we don't do construction loans. But what we do is we'll go in with the builders, and then we'll
Partner with them.
We'll partner with them, negotiate all the pricing, and then we'll have that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, because I see the other side of it, the builder's just building in, right? So
Yeah.
basically, we take less because we're guaranteed to get those transactions. So we're going to do that loan as cheap as we possibly can. Have an internal loan officer do it, so just really cheap.
Right.
And then the builder just built it in the base price of the home. It's
Right.
it's frustrating sometimes. Like, I understand why you get curmudgeon a little bit, because you're a little older than me, right?
Well, and the consumer gets
Right,
sold
but-
this bill
yeah,
of goods.
and you
right.
just, the older you get, the more you're like, come on, you're a little bit smarter than this.
Yeah.
People, oh no, look, this is great. You
Yeah.
know, it's, I
There's
promise.
there's no free
Right.
lunch, and
Ah,
I have
killing
this
me.
visual image of a builder, home builder, like giving you a hug, reaching
Yeah.
your arms around you, and
Yeah.
he's got his hand in your back pocket.
Yeah, and just slipped. Yeah.
That's where that
I
interest
know.
rate's coming from.
It's in my industry too. It's free
Yeah.
carpet install.
Yeah,
Sure, it is.
Yeah,
You're
right?
still paying for it.
Yeah, it's just where you're paying for it. So
yeah. The installers decided to not charge you
Right.
to go out there
That's
and
great.
work for a day.
That's
and
great.
Put that carpet in.
So the other things that we're using right now on the rate side, one, stay tuned next week. I'm going to talk about a new program that we're coming out with. It's a 10-1 arm that we're actually we're partnering with. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a really aggressive product. So I'm excited to talk about that next week. And then we are using the 2-1 buy down because basically we're
I have a question about that. So a 2-1 buy down. Why would somebody do a 2-1 buy down as opposed to a 5-year arm?
a 5-year arm isn't any better price than 30-year fixed.
Oh, it isn't.
No,
Okay.
that's the problem.
Okay.
But stay tuned.
Okay.
We have something in the book. We realize that we have to have an alternative now,
Mm-hmm.
and so we have that alternative being finished up, and I think next week I'll be able to talk about it.
Okay.
So that will be good. But 2-1 buy down, basically you're just starting 2% under. So if we're at 6.99, we're starting at 4.99, going to 5.99, and then we'll end up at 6.99. And basically you're getting essentially the buyer's paying for it, depending on how you structure the
Right.
deal. But we're trying to start at a lower rate to ease them into where that payment is.
But you still have to qualify it.
You qualify still at the high rate, so you still have to be able to. But I'll tell you how many conversations we have. I had one yesterday. they're just like, oh man, really? That's my payment?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, we're probably just, we're just gonna wait.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Wait for prices to go up.
but rates will come down. We really anticipate that in the next 12 months rates will come back down. Once we get into a recession, it will force rates to start to drop again. And but we need to be here for a while. And if we could get, quite honestly, just low 6s, high 5s, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But this
right.
this 7 stuff, not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a
bouncing
fan.
None of
to
us
8
are.
Bouncing to 8,
Yeah.
really not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan. So give me a call, though. Let's at least have a conversation. I've got time. 651-231-2500. 651-231-2500. Thanks.
That's it for this week on your Real Estate Chalk Talk. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group.